WeirDo, WeirDo 13, WeirDomania. Chapter 1. At school, we've been learning about different jobs. Miss Franklin wants to know what we'd like to do when we grow up. My friend Henry thinks it would be fun to be an inventor. I could come out with the cool stuff to fix problems, he said, like a hat that turns into an umbrella if it starts to rain. It starts raining. Rainy and wet, no sweat. Or a hat that can turn into a beach umbrella on a sunny day. Sunny and bright. You're all right. Or a hat that can turn into a tent if the circus comes to town. Need a big top? I'm one stop shop. Bella thinks it'd be cool to work in a zoo. I get to hang out with frogs, she said. Once you're hot, you cannot stop. And elephants. Don't forget to climb behind my ears. I don't want to be a smell-elephant. I was trying to think of some of my favourite things. Drawing toys. That's it, drawing toys. What a great idea for a job. I could be a toy maker. Yes, I'd get to come up with the coolest toys ever, like a bike mixed with a super-powered water blaster, a Bico blaster. Suddenly, my whole class wanted to be a toy makers. I want to make toys, me too, and me. There are so many great jobs, said Miss Franklin. You might have to try a few before you find the perfect one. Before I started teaching, I was a dog walker. Once I walked 10 dogs at the same time. It was a lot of fun, but it was not easy if you came across a cat, said Miss Franklin. You might say it was a catastrophe. Sit! These days, I chase you kids around instead, said Miss Franklin. Sit! For homework, Miss Franklin wants us to write about a job our parents used to do. Some of your parents are coming in tomorrow to talk about what they do now, she said, but I'd like you to find out whether they've ever had any other jobs. These days, Mum works at the animal hospital. That's how we met Kenny the koala. Dad works as a firefighter. I had no idea what jobs they had before my dad. My dad was a pretty funny guy. I reckon he could have done some really crazy things. He could have been a dog surfing instructor. This is not the time to roll over. Or a fortune cookie writer. To have a happy life, have another cookie. Oh, wow, you listen to me. Just then, Bella tapped me on the shoulder. Homework at my place? Sure thing, I said. Chapter 2. As soon as I got home, I asked Dad whether he had any other jobs before he became a firefighter. I've had heaps, said Dad, but the coolest one by far was when I worked in the donut factory. They called me Mr. Donut. It was so much fun working on the donut line. Everything smelled so good. Frosting frosting sprinkles. But sometimes I wasn't fast enough. Eek, I can't keep up. So I have to eat all the extra donuts to catch up. Chomp, chomp, chomp. That sounded so funny. I wondered whether Mum ever had a cool job like that. But I'd have to ask her another time. She was caught up at the animal hospital helping a parrot who'd lost her voice. Have you looked under the couch? Bella had already talked to both of her parents. She found out that her mum once worked in a library. Mum loves books, and said Bella, and she's also very good at telling people to be quiet. Shh. Dad used to be a weather reporter for the TV news, said Bella. A gust of wind picked him up one time and dropped him outside a library where he met my mum. Would you like to go out with me? Bella looked outside for a moment. Our dads were in her yard planting some trees. It's so nice of your dad to help with our garden, she said. So do you know how to stop dogs digging up the yard? Take away their shovels. He loves it, I said. It's lucky our dads get along so well. Suddenly, there was a loud grunt and a huge thud. My dad had Mr. Allen flat on the ground. Oof! So much for getting along. Well, Bella and I ran downstairs to see what was going on. Dad, I said, pulling him off Mr. Allen. What are you doing? It's okay, he said. We were just mucking around. Turns out we both love wrestling, said Dad. And it turns out one of us is way better at it than the other, said Mr. Allen. He's small, but he's really strong. Both of our dads laughed and brushed grass off their clothes. Mr. Allen picked up a shovel. Now, Mr. Doe, he said, how about you help me wrestle this tree into the ground? My family's crazy for wrestling, said Bella as we headed back inside. Are you kidding? Mine too, I said. We love it. The Block is our favourite wrestler. He's our favourite too, said Bella. Block, block, block. Bella was really good at pretending to be the Block. The Block was the coolest wrestler around. He'd never lost a battle in the ring. I turned to Bella and tried to make myself look big and strong. Make way for the Block. Bella laughed. I guess I'm just a chip off the old block, I joked. Bella laughed again, so I kept going with the jokes. What do you call a banana in a wrestling ring? Fruit punch. Ah, ha, 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 ha. What do you get when you mix a banana with karate? Banana split. If only wrestlers could battle with jokes, maybe then I'd have a chance of winning. I can't believe the Block's coming to our town for Wrestle Crazier, said Bella. Dad bought my whole family tickets. Are you going? Wrestle Crazier was going to be awesome, the best. The Block was going to take on his greatest enemy, Kaboom, but I didn't have a ticket. Well, we'd all love to go, I said, but the tickets are a bit too expensive. Maybe next time. Chapter 3. Mum was supposed to talk to my class about working with animals, but she was caught up at the hospital again looking after a pair of frogs. Lucky escape. So Dad came to class instead. I'm WeirDo's dad. Can anyone guess what I am? A nurse, asked Toby. Close, laughed Dad. I'm a firefighter. Dad told my class about how he once helped save a puppy from a house fire. Come with me, oh Snookums, come to Daddy. He also explained how you can't expect to be perfect right away. You have to keep trying, said Dad, even when you make mistakes. Oops, I thought the fire was the other way. Handsome's dad is a model, a hand model. Aren't they handsome? He said that he's modelled some of the most expensive watches. He said that he's modelled some of the most expensive watches in the world. He gave us a look at some of his best hand modelling. The watch, the ping pong paddle, the handcuffs. Mullet's dad is a hairdresser. He gave us a demonstration on Wendy's hair. He sat her in a chair and wrapped it going around her. Snip, 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 chop. This is my favourite hairstyle, he said. Then he spun Wendy's chair around to show us his work. Ta-da! The mullet. Ooh, I love it. Henry's mum is an opera singer. She has the loudest voice I have ever heard. She's sang us some of her lowest notes, me, 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 and her highest notes, la, 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 la. She was really, really good, but everyone was relieved when she stopped singing. Toby's mum is a plumber. She fixes leaky pipes and overflowing toilets. That didn't sound like much fun to me. Run! Sometimes Toby helps, said Mrs. Hogan. Once Toby found a frog swimming in a toilet. Yep, said Toby proudly. Now he's my best friend. It was heaps of fun hearing all about the different jobs. But as soon as Miss Franklin told us about Funny Friday, all anyone could talk about was Wrestle Crazier. Funny Friday meant that everyone had to dress up in a funny costume, and the best dress was going to win family tickets to the wrestling. I have to win those Wrestle Crazier tickets. In the playground, everyone had gone wrestling mad. Make way for the block. The kids everywhere were trying out their favourite moves. They'd even set up a wrestling ring around the sand pit. One of the block's best moves was the mega. One of the block's best moves was the mega block. He'd just stand there and nothing could shake him. You're going to need to be a bulldozer. Blake Green was pretty good at it. Nothing can rock the block. Wendy was trying out another of his moves, the blockbuster. Rawr! Instead of climbing the ropes off the wrestling ring, she stood up a bench by the sandpit and leaped off. But poor Toby did not see that coming. Oof! You got me. I love watching the wrestling on TV, but I didn't think I'd be any good at it myself. All of the famous wrestlers were huge and I was tiny. So long, WeirDo. But Mum always says you should give things a go, so I hopped over the ropes. Make way for WeirDo. Bella and Henry started chanting my name. WeirDo, WeirDo, WeirDo. Blake Green suddenly stepped back into the ring. This time he was playing the block's number one enemy. Kaboom! Tick, tick, tick. Uh-oh, the time bomb. Tick, tick, tick was what Kaboom always said before exploding in the ring. Even though we were just playing, I couldn't take on Blake Green, but before I could worry anymore, he started coming at me. I was toast. Then all of a sudden, my feet jumped me to the side, dodging Blake. And somehow my punny arms reached out, grabbed him, lifted him, and spun him down. 1, 2, 3, Henry counted. WeirDo wins. I used Blake's own speed and weight to defeat him. Ha, said Blake. I did not see that coming. Neither did I said. Chapter 4. There was no way I could miss Wrestle Crazier. I had to win the Funny Friday prize so that me and my family could see the show. That meant I had to come up with an awesome costume right away. Think, brain, think. Chill out, dude. Let me do my thing. But what? At dinner, everyone was trying to help me come up with ideas. What about dressing up as my false teeth? Said Grandad as he pulled them out of his mouth. They are pretty funny looking. Too much drool. A piece of pizza, said Dad, who was in the middle of eating a pizza. Pepperoni, more like pepperoni. I know, said Sally, as she reached for the salt and pepper shakers. What if you went as Salt and Bella went as Pepper? Achoo! Thanks for your ideas, everyone, I said. What do you think, Mum? Mum was great at making costumes, so I was sure she'd have a good idea. How about an animal But before she could finish, Roger yelled out, Poopy! Poopy, that's a terrible idea, I said. Gross. I think someone needs to go to the bathroom, said Mum. She picked Roger up and headed away from the table. I'll come back and help in a minute. An animal. How could I make an animal funny? What if I tried making a costume of one of my mixed up animals? like the great white ladybug or the frog or the doodle. At that moment, Fido and Blockhead came running into the room. Woof, woof, which gave me an idea. What if I mixed them up? Half Blockhead, half Fido. WeirDo. Yeah, everyone at the table cheered. Now I just needed to find Mum so she could help me make the winning costume. But she was gone again. A koala fell out of a tree and landed on a echidna, said Grandad. They both needed her help. Grandad could tell I was disappointed. Come on, he said. Sally and I will help you look for materials. Sally and I followed Grandad into the garage. I needed something to use for Blockhead's feathers. Perfect. I needed something for Fido's long body. This could work. And something for his back legs. I can stuff these. After using a bit of paint, a bit of glue, and a whole bunch of tape, WeirDo was ready. Woof! Do you think this will win the Wrestle Crazy Hour tickets? I asked. Do I look funny enough? Just then, Blockhead and Fido bolted into the garage. They both skidded to a stop when they saw me. Skid. Then stared at me looking very confused, and then ha 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 ha. They cracked up laughing. They both thought I looked hilarious. I think I'm in with a chance. The three of us were jumping around barking when Fido accidentally bumped into a box. Oof! Ooh, perfume, said Sally, picking up a fancy-looking bottle from the floor. She sprayed it in the air. It was a good smell, but very strong. Rough, said Fido. He'd found something else in the box and was pulling it out. It was something shiny and stretchy fabric. I tugged it away from Fido and held it up. What in the world is this? She pulled out something big. What in the world is this? It was a costume of some sort. It even had a cape. Sally's eyes were huge. She was baffled just like me. Whoa, said Sally, reaching for something else in the box, checking the box. Check this out. She pulled out something big. She brushed some dust off and held it up. It was a huge trophy. Tornado? What? Chapter 5. Dad, I yelled, pulling my costume off and running into the house to find him. He was sitting in the kitchen feeding Roger. They were a mess. There was more food on Roger's face than in his bowl. Open wide. Dad, I said, now I know why you were so good at pinning Mr. Allen in the garden. You used to be a wrestling champion. Me, a wrestling champion? He said, ha, not me. He wasn't, but But who did the trophy belong to? Kersplat. Ugh. Roger had flung a huge wet blob of food at me. Ha 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 ha. I ran to the bathroom to wash the gunk off my face. I missed my mum. I wanted to show her my costume, but she still wasn't back from the animal hospital. I popped the bottle of perfume we'd found on her bed. Then I headed to my room to do some drawing. That usually cheers me up. Beep, beep. It was my walkie-talkie. Living next door to Bella was awesome. Hey, Bella, I said, how'd you go with your costume? Great, she said. I can't wait for you to see it tomorrow. How did you go? Pretty good, I said. It wouldn't have been better if Mum was here to help, but she's so busy lately. Sometimes my parents are super busy with work too, said Bella, but hopefully things will slow down at the animal hospital soon. And your mum can make it up to you. I sure hope so. See you at school tomorrow. Chapter 6. Funny Friday was here. I really hope my costume was funny enough to win the grand prize. I couldn't miss Wrestle Crazier. Heaps of kids were dressed as their favourite wrestlers. Henry came as a wrestling ring. Henry shouted in his best announcer voice, "Let's get ready to..." Oops, fumble. One by one, kids made their way across stage. One by one, kids made their ways across the stage, showing off their funny costumes. When it was my turn, I ran across the stage, flapping my wings and barking. I was trying to be as funny as possible. Woof, woof. Everyone cracked up laughing. My costume might not have been the best, but I guess it was pretty funny. Soon it was Bella's turn. I hadn't seen her all morning. I had no idea what costume she was wearing, but I was about to find out. Ha 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 ha! Bella's costume was hilarious. It looked like a meerkat was giving her a piggyback. As soon as I saw it, I knew she'd win. That's the funniest by far. Ha! And I was right. After all the kids, Bella was announced to be the winner. Henry and I started to chant her name. Bella, Bella, Bella. Congratulations, Bella. Bella couldn't wait to tell her dad she'd won. As soon as we got home from school, she raced over to him. Dad, she called, I won funniest costume. Congratulations, Bella. I shouted my dad from our front door. We waved to Mr. Allen just as Bella leaned up to whisper something in his ear. After a moment, Mr. Allen called out, "We've already got tickets to Wrestle Crazier," he said. "These tickets are These tickets Bella just won are extras. Would you guys like to come along? Come along? Yes, please. Chapter 7. Everyone at Wrestle Crazy was going wild. The place was packed with fans cheering and chanting for their favourite wrestlers. But it was pretty clear who everyone was the most excited to see. Here comes the greatest wrestler champion of all time, the Block. We all went absolutely nuts. The Block slowly stopped around the ring like always glaring at the crowd. Bella jumped with excitement. Next, everyone knew he would jump on a corner of the ring, lift his huge arms into the air and chant, "Block, block, block." But tonight, for some reason, the Block didn't do that. Instead, he stood still and sniffed the air. "I smell my greatest challenger here tonight," he boomed. "The only wrestler who has ever beaten me." Beaten him? I didn't think anyone had ever beaten the Block. What was he talking about? The Block grabbed the mic off the announcer and declared, "The Human Tornado." The crowd gasped. The Human Tornado? That name sounded mighty familiar. "Have you come here to challenge me again?" boomed the Block. "I have been waiting so long for you to show yourself." "Excuse me," said Mum. "I have to go to the bathroom." "Excuse me, sorry, excuse me." Mum started wriggling her way down the row of seats. That was weird timing. She was going to miss seeing the Human Tornado. I looked over at Dad. Had he been fooling me? Was he really the Human Tornado? The crowd was going wild, chanting, "Of course we're joining. Tornado, tornado. Hold on to your seats," a voice suddenly called from the darkness. "The tornado is coming." What? My mum was the Human Tornado and she'd beaten the Block? Awesome! That's Mum. Yep. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Mum stepped into the ring and walked right up to the Block. For the first time, he looked a little bit worried. The Block braced himself by doing the Mega Block. But not even the Mega Block could stop what Mum had in store. The wild wind. Mum speared her cape wide and swung it with such power that the Block toppled over like a cardboard cutout. He quickly climbed back to his feet and started preparing for the shock block. But he had no chance against what Mum had next. The reign of terror. She jumped up on the Block's corner post and leaped off hitting the block like a lightning bolt. Blink. The block was scrambling back to his feet when the announcer called out. "Uh-oh," he said. "It seems we have another challenger entering the ring." Tick, tick, tick. It was Kaboom! Kaboom and the block were enemies, but instead of battling, they walked up to each other and pumped their fists. Together, they were going to try and take down the tornado. Little did they know, my mum wasn't scared of anything, not even two massive wrestlers. She was busy warming up for her biggest move, the human tornado. I held my breath as Mum backed into the ropes, stretching them really, really far. And took a flying leap at the block and kaboom. She was spinning like a wild tornado. Whip, whip, whoosh. As soon as he reached Kaboom, he went flying one way, oof, and the block went another, whoosh. The announcer ran over to Kaboom and the block, who were both tangled up on the floor. He counted 1, 2, 3. The announcer jumped up, grabbed my mum's hand and lifted it. Winner! Chapter 8. Mum popped her new championship trophy on the table. It was big and heavy that the table almost toppled over. "I've still got it." "You sure do," said Sally. "Next time you tell me to tidy my room, I'm definitely going to do it." I was so proud of her. My mum, the greatest unstoppable human tornado. No wonder I was good at wrestling too. I thought making toys would be the coolest job, but maybe I could be a wrestler just like my mum. Human tornado and kid tornado. Said Mum, "I want you to know that we're getting more help at the animal hospital, so that means I'll have more time to spend with you." "That would be great," I said. "So, what would you like to do?" What did I want to do? I didn't even have to think about it. Wrestle! "You need to teach me all your awesome moves. You're on," said Mum. We were about to high-five when Mum froze. What is it?" I asked. "Do you feel that?" she asked. "Feel what?" "A tornado is coming." And with that, she grabbed me and spun me around and around. Ha, 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 ha. I love my mum. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you liked it, there's more coming up. So see you next time. Bye.